So get ready because my first recipe, look, my mouth is watering already, okay? It's called Tofu ALA Mojo. Why? Because originally, because you know I'm half Cuban, you know that part, right? Okay. Originally, I used to do pork with mojo. Mojo is a sauce that is full of garlic. So it's a dressing. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to create this dressing. But today, instead of using pork, which I no longer believe that I need to harm anybody, I'm switching it to tofu. And I will marinate the tofu. I will show you how we're going to cut it. And we're going to get you there. And it's so flavorful. And it's incredible with rice, couscous, pasta, whatever you want to serve it on the side dish, or just beautiful green salad. You don't have to go with any starch or grains. So welcome to our first recipe, Tofu ALA Mojo, okay? And I hope you like garlic. Now, equipment. We're going to need a blender, okay? So you have a blender, you know, you need your chef knife, a couple of spoons. We need a couple of spoons for you to manage certain things. I always like to have a couple of scrapers next to me. It's easy to handle certain jobs, you know, so we don't waste. And then, of course, you know, I have my little handy-dandy lime. That's optional. You don't have to go run and get one. But it just makes it easy. So that's basically part of your some of your equipment. Now, what do you need to put the tofu? Just get a shallow dish. I mean, I recommend something, you know, glass or something that you can absorb, because the garlic is so strong that when you use maybe a plastic or a plastic container, it will tend to absorb that flavor because it's so strong, the garlic. You see what you see. So I normally like glass, but if you don't have glass, just go for the garlic and then maybe rinse it with a little bit of lime and vinegar and a little baking soda, and that might remove the little garlicky smell, you know, after you wash it. So that's it. See how fast? This is the only equipment. Let's talk about ingredients, okay? What you need for this is tofu that is super, super extra firm. And we are going to use cuts as such, like 1/3, a little triangles, because I want to still make it as some sort of a meaty look, okay? So we have tofu that is very, very firm, as you can tell, super firm, okay? And shoot me in the mail. You can actually leave a comment if you like in the kitchen, chefmyerskitchen.com, or go to chefmeyer.com and leave me a message there if you want to know the brand that I use for this extra, extra firm, vacuum packed, very easy to manage for this type of recipes. So that's the cut we're going to use, all right? So that's your first item. I wanted to talk about the soy protein. This is organic, non-GMO, okay? Just wanted to tell you that this soy is pretty clean. We are going to use sugar, and the sugar that I want you to really start getting used to is the organic sugar. Now, some folks actually sell this as vegan sugar, but I want you to save money. Just look for Florida Crystal evaporated cane sugar. This is back in the day sugar. Remember the sugar when you used to buy it, then you had to put a carrot in the container so it would not get crumbled? That's the sugar, okay? We are going to use minced onions. I recommend it in the recipe, red onions. I want to go a little sweet, so I use a Vidalia, okay? Then, I always have chopped green onions. There's not in your recipe, I just like to work with them. So you will see me throughout all 3 recipes working on that. And remember, we split in the recipes. On the 15th, you are watching today Tofu ALA Mojo, okay? Then we have minced garlic. Okay, we have plenty of them to work with. I also have chipotle adobo. And of course, you know, my spices, cumin, and then Chef Meyer spices right here. And then I have some dried tomato with chili and chipotle smoked. And of course, you know myself, how I do, I spice my salt too. So my salt has flavor as well. What kind of salt? Sea salt. I don't use anything else, okay? Now, I don't want it rough, and I want it flavorful, and I just want enough just to put that, just that touch. Now, let's talk about the food that we're using. Now, the recipe, let's just review it. It says that we need to have a bunch of cilantro. There it is, bunch of cilantro. Then it's telling me that we're going to use sea salt and garlic. And then it's telling me that I need to use a little bit of olive oil. Okay. And then, of course, half a cup of orange juice. Then, of course, my unbleached sugar. My adobo. Okay, so we have all that. And then, of course, our tofu. And then our seeds. If you don't have cumin seeds, it's okay to use powder, okay? Great. And then, of course, onions. And guess what? Let's talk about our beautiful plates. Our potatoes for our recipes. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to have some yam. And in addition to that, guys, I took pumpkin. Calabaza de Castillo. This is the same pumpkin. Can you think of Cinderella? Can you think the pumpkin that Cinderella was sitting on? That's the Castillo. That's the same beautiful shape. And it's still available all the way to almost like New Year's Eve. So when you think that Halloween is over and you can get any more pumpkins, yes, you can get a Castillo. And it's a different color. Okay. So what I did, and I'm going to show you right now before we jump to anything, because we are going to use calabaza, pumpkin, and camote, yam, to finalize our mojito. Okay? So let me make some room. Now, first of all, the easiest way to cut, so let's just say you cut the slice. The easiest way is just to cut this part, cut another part, right? And then you take the skin, and that's it. So you have a nice chunk of calabaza, pumpkin, and when you boil it, then you have your pumpkin, where you can slice. See that? See, I want you to remember you can eat the pumpkin. Why? Full of fiber. It's an orange food. Orange food, second chakra. Totally enlightens the area of your stomach, digestion. Now, from orange color, beta carotene, eye. So you have eye medicine, low glycemic, and eye medicine is beta carotene. So when you have sweet potatoes, pumpkin, and carrots, is eye. The carrots bring it up because the sugar. So if you are in the space of type 2 or type 1 and you cannot, sweet potatoes and pumpkin. That's a great combination to any time to finalize. Now, let me tell you something else about our pumpkin. This is such a cool, you know how you grate the carrots? You the same thing, you get a grater and you can grate your pumpkin. So you can have raw pumpkin and grate it on top of your salad, on top of anything. So you can have raw. See, look how beautiful, beautiful color. This is, and it smells so good too. Okay? Oh, I guess there's something, I'm making you something to go with this dish, so you'll see. We had our little bell just rang, letting us know. Okay, so now you know how you cut your pumpkin, okay? I'm gonna put it right here. I'm gonna use it to decorate your plate. Okay, now, if you have any questions, put it in the chat room. We will monitor the chat room even if we're not live.
okay? Let's begin. So, did you go to Chef Myra, let's say chefmyraskitchen.com, chefmyraskitchen.com. Please go look for the Chef Myra Tofu ALA Mojo recipe and have it so we can do this recipe together. So, first thing we do, we need our blender, okay? And what I'm doing is, instead of putting the top, I want you to see the whole full effect, so I'm using a little plastic. I need you to see the whole entire thing in the camera. Okay, so what we're going to do is, in your blender, we are going to put at least half a bunch of cilantro. Cut the tail. With your hands, you can just rip it. You don't need to have, depending how your strength. If you need to use a knife, use the knife. Okay? So let's do a little more than half a bunch. Just about that, because I have enough tofu in there. Okay? Then it's telling me to get the salt, and put a little bit of salt. The recommendations that it's telling you is about 1 teaspoon. So I'm just going to pinch it, okay? 1 teaspoon. Okay? Then it's telling me to use, let me see, garlic. Alright, it's about 4 cloves. Is that my recommendations? Yeah, 4 cloves. But basically, you do whatever you want. You want to go beyond that. Because you know what happened? Whoop, that's noisy. What happens is that you want it to taste very garlicky. Then after that, we are going to take at least 2 tablespoons of olive oil, okay? At least 2 of them. So, and I'm very generous, but not too generous with the oil. So if I say 2, make sure it's 2. We can always do something else with it. Now, so now we have the garlic, the salt, and the cilantro. Now we are going to put the orange juice. We are going to put the comino. Remember, if you don't have seeds, use powder. Okay. Now, here is my suggestion. You need to put adobo, right? I also have my chipotle smoked in seeds. And I have my sugar. Alright, well, let's do the sugar. And the sugar is just to bring a little bit the flavor of the chipotle. It does work. Now, the adobo. The adobo, we're going to talk about, what do we talk about in the adobo? Like half a teaspoon? It's actually up to you, because if you don't like it too hot, don't stress about it. Just do whatever you think it will taste good. I don't want you to, I don't know, put it in your mouth and then you're like, I can deal with this, okay? So now let's do, now this is really super hot, okay? So just gonna do that, okay? Now, this is my spices, this is Chef Myra spices. And that's the part that you get in my flavor. Now the flavor as it is right now is pretty good. But then I gotta put me right here. So that's me. What do you have in there, Chef? A little bit of this and a little bit of that. Thyme, oregano, marjoram, and some more things that I like to mix, because it's like an alchemy for me, my spices. There are specific vibration really when I combine things. Okay, so let's go back to your recipe. We did the cilantro, we did the salt, we did your garlic, we did your olive, and your comino and your orange juice. Okay, so now let's get some lime. Now, if you like the lime, I prefer lime, but if you have lemon at home, that's fine too. It's just lime, just adds an extra zing in there. And it says 1 medium. It's pretty good, 1 medium. It don't hurt if you go a little more than that. See, I told you, this is kind of handy. Did I go this too fast? We'll do it again, don't worry about it.
Okay, so all right, you got everything? Cilantro, salt, garlic, olive oil, orange juice, and lemon. Then we did our sugar, remember? We did our sugar, that's done. And what else do we need? We did the chipotle, that's done. What else did we miss? That's it, right? But guess what? You're done. Okay, now, let's put it here, make sure. And remember, I want you to see the whole thing. Okay, so, on the camera to get a good shot. And remember, we use half of it because the other half, we're going to do it at the end for the dish. This garlic, I might need it a little bit to get some of the flavor. Here we go. Okay. Look at that beautiful color. See that? Now, I got to try it. You know what? The citrus and the orange is so delicious with the chipotle. It has a little kick. Okay, let's get garlic in there. I want it more garlicky. Okay, we're gonna roll it again. Okay, I want you to still see this, everything. Oh my God, it's so delicious. Okay, I can't wait for you to see it. Okay, put everything away. Let's get the tofu, and pretty much we're done. We're gonna put it in our heat. We're gonna go to the stove, and then we're gonna leave it there for like 30 minutes. We'll come back, and it's delicious. Okay? Now, here comes the tip. When you cut it, you want to cut half. Let's put this over here. So you have the whole tube, and you're slicing it, okay? And you're slicing it like half an inch. That's all you're doing. You want them a little thick, but you don't want them too thick. You know what I mean? Then, when you have them, kind of sort of rectangle, you cut them in half. And that's how you do the little triangle. Okay? So you have your little triangles. And like I said, you can go as thick as you want. Simple. Little triangles. Like little baby cutlets. Right? That's it. That's your cut. Now, the secret of this dish is that the longer you let it marinate, the better. Why? Because as tofu, it'll absorb. But just like anything else, you need to marinate it. You need flavor. Okay, so let's get our dish and arrange your tofu. Such a simple dish. You saw the sauce, you saw the mojo. Now, I suggest you do this mojo for anything. You can do it with tempeh. You can use it as a base for beans, even part of your rice. Okay, now you take this, throw it now. You want to reserve the sauce because we will remove the tofu from here. Okay, another thing, if you came home and you like totally forgot to marinate this thing, what I suggest is take your mojo, make it right away. You saw how simple it was. Cut your tofu and let it sit there. In the meantime, you probably settling the kids or making phone calls, or you gotta check email, whatever, like anything like that. And they can sit for at least 30 minutes. Let it sit for 30 minutes. By the time you do this, you do that, you pretty much put some flavor. You know what I mean? So don't stress about it. If you happen to like have enough time the night before, then do the mojo, cover it, and let it sit. when you come from work or whatever you got to do for that day, should be perfect. Okay, so look at the beautiful color. This is so, I mean, guys, is, you know, like cilantro, it's pure chlorophyll. I mean, it's green. You're eating food. Now, you want to get a little crazy? Put a little kale. The cilantro and the garlic is going to take over. But if you put kale in your mojo, or even a couple leaves of mustard greens, easy, because that mustard green with the chipotle, we're going to have people dancing around, okay? But you can put kale in there too, to raise up the protein value of the mojo. So see, that's the beauty of this, is that my traditional mojo, I can raise up, besides the vibration because of the grains, I put some extra. So one thing, if you're going to put another grain, increase your orange juice. Okay, now, this is not in the recipe. This is what I like to do. Remember when I tasted it? I felt the chipotle. I said, okay, let's play with this chipotle a little more. I'm going to drizzle just a little bit of orange juice, right? Again, folks, not in the recipe. I am